My name is Laura Foley, the cheater of death by PowerPoint, and today we're going to look at a slide that was submitted by a person from the University of Calgary. Let's take a look at this slide as it was animated. We have a title on top naturally, we've got some text and an image that goes with the text. So far, so good. The next click brings some more text and an image to illustrate it. And the third click brings the big question about this slide. Let's talk about what we're seeing here. The first thing I noticed when I was analyzing this slide is that we've got a date down here on the lower left and a slide count on the lower right. In the makeover, I eliminated these because for the date, people don't need to know what day it is on the day that they are seeing the presentation. This master is set up so it's always the date, the current date, and that is information that the people don't need and is taking up valuable slide real estate. Over here with the slide countdown, you really don't need to number your slides, and I tell this to anyone who will listen, because the numbers serve no purpose for the audience. Therefore, they take up space and they're providing useless information. Plus, when you have a countdown slide X of Y number, that gives people a way to count down to the end of the meeting, the end of the presentation, and they become fixated on the countdown. How much more of this presentation do I have to watch? Oh no, there's 20 more slides. See what I mean? So don't give people an opportunity to be distracted. You get rid of that. Another thing I noticed was these bullet points here. This chevron bullet point is very flashy and it's calling a lot of attention to itself. In the makeover, I changed that. Another thing is this blue I noticed did not look like it belonged, and when I checked, I see that it's not among the theme colors. When you are using a nice, well-designed theme like this one, you want to make sure you're only using the colors in the palette here. When you start using these colors downstairs or using different colors, then it starts to look jarring and it no longer, your presentation no longer looks like it came from the place that it's supposed to be coming from. In other words, you lose the brand identity of the University of Calgary when you start throwing different colors in there. Another issue I found with this slide was the order in which it animates, and I'll show you what I mean. We've got this text up here referring to this image, and then when we click again, this text here is referring to this image way over here. So it's not very close to the text. And then the punchline, the big question, isn't very big, and the typography, the color, and the size of the text doesn't make it seem like it's an important question. Here's what the redesign looks like. We start off with the first description of spectroscopic systems and the image that is about the spectroscopic systems. The next click brings spectral imaging systems, and I've lined this up so everything is vertical, just as I've done here. And the third click is the big punchline, the big question. Now here are some other subtle changes that I've made that actually make a big difference. Because I've used this color here, it's part of the palette and it blends in very well, very nicely with the rest of the slide. So I've used the palette colors. I've also made these bullets more discreet, again using the palette colors, but most importantly by arranging the information from left to right, which is how we read English, rather than from top to bottom. I've been able to line it up so that we can compare these two different kinds of systems. You'll see that each one of these titles is on 2 lines. The first bullet is on 2 lines. The second bullet is on 1 line. So it makes comparing things from the left to the right very easy because visually they're in a straight line. That means that when they're animated, you can very easily make that side-by-side comparison, and then that leads to the big question of how we can measure from a small volume of tissue deep in the brain.